Everybody loves benzos until you experience the withdrawals. Most kids don't know that when they're getting into Xanax that you can actually die from the physical withdrawals after your body is used to taking it for long enough. But let's assume that you're going to survive the withdrawal symptoms. Some of the things that you're going to be experiencing is sensitive eyesight, sensitive hearing, headaches, muscle spasms, tremors. You can have seizures if you don't get the proper medication, rapid heartbeat or arrhythmia. You'll have severe muscle pains. You'll be vomiting and throwing up. You can't eat shit. It is absolutely miserable. Sweating, it's brutal. And depending on how much you take and how high your tolerance is, you're going to be experiencing this for maybe weeks on end. When you're going through benzo withdrawals, you have to go to a facility. You have to go to a proper detox unless you want to take the risk of suffering severe consequences. If you are addicted, do not try to go cold turkey. Go to fucking treatment.
Cold turkey benzo withdrawal. Let's talk about it. So what's up, you guys? My name's Nicole Pludre. I'm a person in recovery. I've been sober for 10 years and I used to do a lot of motherfucking drugs. Benzodiazepines being one of them. I was addicted to benzos for 13 years. It all started out with a legit prescription from the doctor because I was having panic attacks. I worked a very demanding job at the Department of Motor Vehicles here in Arkansas. It was back when I lived in Hot Springs. Working at the DMV was very, very demanding. I was in contact with like customers that were irate, and I would, people would try to physically assault me when I worked there. I would get yelled at on a daily basis. It was a pretty stressful job. So you can imagine, I was collecting people's sales tax on their new vehicles. I was telling people their driver's licenses were suspended. The DMV is not the happiest place that people want to be. So I started taking Xanax when I was working there. I was prescribed the peach 0.5s at first. And then I was bumped up to the footballs probably about 6 months later. And I very quickly realized that taking this medication made me feel great. It made me feel better. It made me feel at ease. It made me feel not stressed. It made me just feel like I could float through my day. And that was what I really liked about benzos, is that I could take them and I didn't have a care in the world. I felt invincible. If somebody wanted to jump across the counter at me and try to choke me out because their sales tax was $3,000, it was no big deal to me. I was just chilling, honey. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how I started out. I started abusing it. It wasn't right away. I took them as prescribed for a couple months. But when I got that prescription for the footballs, when I got bumped up in my dose, I started to abuse them. And it quickly spiraled out of control where I was, shoplifting. I would get so high on benzos, I would go into Walmart and steal and walk right out the front door like nobody's business. Now, when I was ripped off of them cold turkey, I was actually in a treatment program and they put me through a detox, but the detox was only 5 days. There's no way I could have been properly tapered from a benzo in 5 days in a detox program. So when I got into the residential side of the program, I was still really bad in withdrawal from the benzos. So I had my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, sneaking me Xanax into the program, and they busted me. When they busted me, instead of knocking me back down and putting me back through detox or starting me over in the program, they just put me on a behavior contract, and I basically went through withdrawal all over again. And pins and needles, I experienced those after I left treatment. So the withdrawal that I experienced with benzodiazepines was very long. I was in pain for 8 months. 8 months. The symptoms that I experienced were pins and needles, burning skin, ringing of the ears, gastrointestinal issues where I was having like mad diarrhea. What else? Heart palpitations. Oh gosh. Like tracers when I would like see something going by me, but there was really nothing there. Insomnia. Restless legs. Like, it was horrible, you guys. And I experienced all of this for 8 months. When I tell you guys I didn't sleep a full 5 to 6 hours for 8 months, I was probably getting like 2.5 hours, maybe, of horrible sleep where I was not rested. And so, to answer your question quite simply, yes, I experienced pins and needles and so many other things. I hope this video helped you in some way. If it did, and if you guys can relate, let me know down in the comment section below and share this video with somebody else. At the end of the day, if you're struggling with an addiction to benzodiazepines, my advice to you is to titrate as low as you can. Titrate down as low as you can in a safe way with a doctor, and then if you can get into a place, a treatment program after you've titrated yourself down pretty low, then I think that you could have success doing it that way, or you could just continue tapering with your provider. But please be safe, and remember, low and slow. All right, love y'all.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. Benzos, for me, was the most difficult withdrawal of all the substances I withdrawed from. Alcohol, pain pills, doesn't even compare. I mean, I was weaned off over like a 6-day period, which was nowhere near enough time. I mean, I had to do it because I was in a psychiatric ward, and then to go into my inpatient, I had to be off everything. And I didn't feel right for like 6 to 8 months, maybe a little bit longer. Electrical shocks. I mean, dude, it was just bizarre. The withdrawals from benzos, hands down, by far, the worst withdrawal symptoms and worst withdrawal I had from any substance.
Here's my daily check-in for my benzo withdrawal journey. So I'm feeling like so much better. Like the switch from the Xanax to the Valium definitely was the answer, because Xanax has only a 4-hour lifetime span. So as soon as it wears off, it gives you rebound anxiety. That's one of the side effects. So as soon as the Xanax wears off, you feel like you need another one and another one and another one and another one. And that's how you get caught up taking so many. And I was taking so many that trying to get off of them was really, really difficult. But they switched it to Valium, which to me, it seems to have like an 8-hour lifetime, you know. It lasts for about 8 hours, but it doesn't wear off and make me feel like I'm panicking, and I don't feel like I need to take another one. So that was a good switch, and it seems to be working. And the Seroquel knocks me out at night, so I've been sleeping just fine. So I guess I'm ready to go to rehab on Monday. It's not really rehab, it's sober living. So the first 30 days are like rehab. You're locked down and you can't leave, you can't have a cell phone, and you can't have any visitors, so that's gonna really fucking suck. But then after that, you get your phone and a job and so on and so forth, and just move on with your life. And you can stay at the healing house. That's where I'm going. I shouldn't have probably said that, because someone's gonna probably come murder me. But anyway, who cares? They, you can stay there forever. Like, you don't ever have to leave. Like, some people have been there for fucking 10 years. So you pay rent and everything like that. But anyway, they help you get your own place, but it's still in their buildings, you know. But that's further down the road. So love you guys. Bye. Hi, here's my update for my benzo withdrawals. Weaning myself off of benzos, as well as the update on my bed date for treatment. Don't mind my hair. I haven't, I've been in bed. I haven't done shit. I've just been trying to get off these fucking pills. And I just want to say that I never in a million years thought that something prescribed by a doctor could have such a fucking hold on you, and you be so fucking dependent on it that it cripples you trying to get off of it. I never in a million years saw this coming. Of course, I never really thought about stopping them. It didn't occur to me. So like the hard drugs, that wasn't shit compared to this. This has been fucking hell. But I will say, since the switch from the Xanax to the Valium, it's getting easier. The Xanax was giving me like rebound anxiety, and I feel like I got to take them back to back to back. Once it wears off in 4 hours, I got to have another one and another one and another one. So I was just taking way too many Xanax. But now the Valium, I don't know, there's something different about it, and I'm chill. And I've tapered down to, I was on 3 10 milligrams. Now I'm only taking 2 10 milligrams. And tonight I'm going to try to take just 1 10 milligram. So we'll see how that goes. But there you go. Oops, hi, I'm back. I forgot to tell you my bed date is Monday. I have to be there by noon, so I'll see you guys this weekend, and then you won't see me for a while. So I'll miss y'all, but I'll be back.
Hey you guys, good morning. It's been a while, but I wanted to give you guys an update on my benzo withdrawal. So I did an at-home detox with my doctor. I guess you could say I cold turkey quit benzos and was in turn given medications to help me assist me in the withdrawal. So my doctor gave me Lyrica for like GABA. Oh, it's incredible. Hydroxyzine and Buspirone for anxiety. Hydroxyzine was explained to me. It's like a really clean, strong Benadryl, and it's kind of like a sedative. That medication is a lifesaver. And the Lyrica, oh my gosh. So real quick, just to recap, I stopped taking benzos June 27th. I was very ill for 19 days. And it was like the first 3 to 4 days was the least amount of trouble for me. And then after that, I started to experience extreme withdrawal. It was difficult, but 10 out of 10, I do recommend. Let me make a disclaimer. Benzo withdrawal is serious, and I do not ever recommend that you go cold turkey off any medication, but benzos in particular, on your own. Work with a doctor, work with a treatment facility, whatever it is that works for you. Just do not do it alone. And so, yeah, 19 days, and it was the same amount of horrible for those whole, like, after that 3rd or 4th day until the 19th day. And then all of a sudden, I just started feeling better, and I was like, thank you, God. If you want, you can ask me any other questions, but I wanted to give an update, like how I am now. So it's already November. It's November 6th or 7th. I've heard a lot of stories about people having a lot of experiences. I did experience, like, when your cortisol is messed up from getting off of medication like that, it takes a while for it to level out. So June, July, August, September, October, it's been 5 months. And I feel amazing. I had a couple panic attacks. I had a little bit of anxiety, but I haven't had any residual effects that I can tell. I seem to be doing great. I'm so glad that I did that. I feel amazing. I feel way better than I did when I was taking them. And my anxiety is actually more controlled now. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me.
What does benzo withdrawal feel like? Okay, so let me walk through what benzo withdrawal felt like for me and what led me to tapering and coming off in the first place. To confirm, benzo withdrawal is defined by when a patient is tapering off of their drug and 2 weeks after cessation of the drug. And after that, it is considered protracted withdrawal according to the FDA, and bind, benzodiazepine-induced neurological dysfunction, by a majority of educated doctors. So I will speak to benzo withdrawal phase, and I will do another video for bind another time. For me, I was forced to cut my benzo by 50%. And I was on 0.8 milligrams of Xanax, which is less than 1 milligram. I was only on that dose for 2 months. Before that, I was on 0.25. And according to doctors, they would call this a baby dose of a benzo. But that is a terminology that was pushed on by the pharmaceutical companies against Valium to push their drug. There is no such thing as a baby dose of a benzo, as they're all extremely potent. Remember, 1 milligram of Xanax equals 20 milligrams of Valium. 1 milligram of Ativan equals 10 milligrams of Valium. So I was forced to cut 50% because I was suffering from interdose withdrawal, which unfortunately is very common, which my doctors were completely uneducated about. And since he thought the symptoms were me, my doctor had me do ketamine IV treatment. Well, for those that don't know much about ketamine, ketamine works on the glutamate receptors. And as we know now from benzos downregulate GABA and upregulate glutamate to help find homeostasis. So now I am taking between 44 to 75 milligrams of ketamine over a 2-hour period for maybe 3 times a week for 2 months. So it is bombarding my already damaged brain receptors. And it was actually what forced me to increase the benzo, which doctors didn't understand. They just told me to increase it based off of my symptoms. Well, another thing their doctors are probably not going to tell you is that benzos and ketamine are metabolized by the same liver enzyme, cytochrome 450. And this is what leads to oversedation, unfortunately. Well, that is what happened to me. I got oversedation from taking benzos and ketamine, which is what forced me to come off the drug 50%. Oversedation is one of the most horrific things I've ever experienced in my life until benzo withdrawal. And then at that point, I was left fighting for my life. I had immediate convulsions, extreme psychosis, hallucinations. My nervous system was so damaged that I was contracting back and forth like this at rapid pace. I had extreme vertigo, extreme vomiting. I had jelly legs, so I couldn't really walk. I had akathisia, probably at one of the most severest levels, which is a movement disorder, which makes you feel the need to constantly move, and a sense of suicidal ideation. This was nonstop. Super sensitive to noise and light. I had extreme anxiety, extreme depression. I had manic episodes. I had severe PTSD episodes. I could not eat certain foods. Probably I couldn't eat most foods due to histamine and glutamate intolerance. You cannot drink coffee, not alcohol. So you're really limited on what you could eat. But I had suicidal ideation that entire time. So for the people that have never experienced these symptoms, let me explain it in lamest terms. Imagine being on the worst acid trip of your life, getting strapped to a truck and dragged through dirt for months and months to come. And at the same time, imagine someone putting nails in a metal bat and beating your head and nervous system into submission. Like this, that is an understatement of what I experienced and what most of us have experienced going through this journey. And we actually have no perception of normal things that people perceive. Everything is from the perception of death. So the term coined is death goggles in the benzo community, because everything you see is from the perception of death. It feels like I was put in a box 6 feet underground, and honestly, that probably would have been better than what I've endured. And while the convulsions had stopped after like the first week or so, the rest of the symptoms never stopped at all the way through the tapering. And now I am 29 months into benzo injury, bind, protracted withdrawal. And so, yeah, so that's basically what it felt like for me. Everyone is different. I think obviously the name of the game is a slow, patient-led taper to help prevent this from happening. Even tapering for a lot of people can be really difficult, so it's something you have to prepare for. That would be my advice. Expect symptoms and know that it's not you. It's so crazy. It's like people come off these benzos and then people will have all these symptoms. The doctor's like, okay, get back on. But someone going through sugar withdrawal or caffeine withdrawal and gets off, no one's going to say, okay, go back on. Like, that doesn't happen. But with psych drugs, doctors do that because they don't know what to do. They're not educated on the effects, and they think, oh, that must be you, get back on the drug. And that is probably the worst thing you can do. There is a short period that someone could come off and go back on, and we could do another video on that another time. But please let me know if there's any other topics you would like me to discuss, and please stay safe, and please find an educated doctor. You can visit benzoinfo.com for that, for references. Good luck.
What's the worst drug to withdraw from? So I can only speak from my experience, and everybody's experience is different. But in my career as a drug addict, I've withdrawn from alcohol, opiates, both methadone and heroin, and benzodiazepines. And without a shadow of a doubt, the worst drug to withdraw from was the benzos. In August, it'll be 6 years since I last took a benzo, and I still haven't fully recovered. Some people can get off benzos with little problem, but most people will have a hard time. But for some, the damage can be so severe it can take years to recover from. So in 2017, I was cold turkeyed off benzos whilst I was in rehab, coming off other substances, coming off the methadone and the alcohol, and it was like a bomb exploded in my brain. Here are just some of the symptoms I experienced. So brain zaps, akathisia, psychosis, hallucinations, both visual and auditory, my chronic jerks, a constant feeling of terror, cognitive impairments. But that doesn't quite cut it. I lost my complete memory, and I almost lost the ability to speak. There was also depersonalization, derealization, this feeling like I was on acid for 3 years. And there were the symptoms that I don't even think they have a medical term for. So there was like inner vibrations. There was this vibrating sensation in my skull, like somebody was drilling in there. And I still find it traumatic to talk about. Not only do you have to live being so debilitated, but people don't believe you. So you're left defending the truth of your situation. I also hold off talking about it because I don't want to freak other people out that might be on benzos. But this is my truth. And this is Big Pharma's dirty secret, not mine. I just think it's important that people are made aware of these drugs' capabilities and the importance of safe tapering. So if you are wanting to come off benzos, please be careful and taper. I've left some links in the comments.
So it's been confirmed that I'm in bind. What is bind? Benzo-induced neurological dysfunction. My history is really complicated, so if you're interested in knowing all about it, please go check out my page. If not, just listen. So when they put me on a clonazepam, a very low dose back in 2013, I did just okay. But what ended up happening over the years is I started to build up a tolerance. And so they had to continue increasing my dose. By the time I hit 2022, I was on 1 milligram twice a day. Throughout the years, I believe I experienced what's called intradose tolerance withdrawals, which mimic multiple sclerosis symptoms. That's why they kept increasing my dose and adding other medications to the mix, like increasing my gabapentin, putting me on Tegretol, and trying all other kinds of off-label type medications, which I've been through on my page, so you can go check it out. So in 2022, I was fast tapered, I think in less than 9 months. I think it was even 6 months. And what that did is it triggered this bind situation that I'm dealing with now. Just to add a little bit of context, after I was fast tapered, I didn't know that I was in bind or experiencing any kind of protracted withdrawals. I was not warned about it, and I was not told by my doctors that this could happen. After I was fast tapered off that original long-term use of clonazepam, I didn't know that I was in bind at all. I thought all of these symptoms that I was experiencing was due to my MS. So now and then I would dip into that old clonazepam prescription that I had left over because it helped me just, soothe these awful withdrawal symptoms, which you can look up. There's too many to list. And when I had my surgery in January 2024, the doctor ordered me Valium. So I sparked what's called kindling, which made my withdrawals even worse. It's kind of like feeding my brain my GABA receptors and then ripping them off again, feeding them and then ripping them off. So when my doctor put me back on clonazepam, 1 milligram consistently, it was the worst thing I could have ever done. And when I started to taper, the withdrawal symptoms were magnified times 1,000. So now I'm on a compounded formula of 0.45 milligrams. I split the doses, between 12 hours, sometimes a little less because I can't make it at night. And I've got to stay here for a minimum of 3 months to see if I can get out of these benzo-induced neurological dysfunction, which it's a crapshoot. We have to wait and see. There's nothing I can do except wait it out and see if these symptoms that I'm having, and you guys can go look at my page because I talk about my pain all the time, and I'm going to continue talking about it because this is my life and this is my page. And if you don't like it, just scroll. So if you're on any type of benzodiazepine, I just encourage you to be ultra informed of what you're taking. And let me tell you, if your doctor retires or one day just decides to, because that's what's happening, so many people are told that, nope, it's time to get off your benzo, and they're fast tapered, and this can happen to you. It may not ever, you may not ever have to come off your benzo. I don't know. Point is you need to be informed on the medications that your doctors are sending you. Please, do your research. Be an informed patient. I was not, and look at me now. I don't know how long this taper is going to take, but it's going to take a hot fucking minute. Maybe close to, just to get off 0.45 to get me out of bind, could take me 1.5 to 2 years. Let that sink in.
Going through these benzo withdrawals is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And I've been on 2 medical leaves. But I'm not even on medical leave right now. Nobody prepares you. When a doctor prescribes you these medicines and then another doctor takes you off, they do not prepare you. They do not prepare you for what you have to go through. I got forced to get off these meds because the new doctor didn't want to write Valium. So I've been having to taper myself down really fast. But I'm not getting any sleep. The pain is so bad. It's not just the psychological stuff, it's the physical stuff too. My neck is so tight and my chest is so tight. I've already got costochondritis. I have a pinched nerve on my left side that I've been having to go to a chiropractor for. Nobody prepares you for that. Nobody prepares you for the muscle stiffness that can cause pain. Or the internal tremors. Or your brain shaking around in your head. I don't know how I'm working right now. This is the hardest thing I've ever been through. Don't ever get on benzos because one day you'll have to get off of them, and it is freaking hell. It is absolute hell. Not getting any sleep. I'm having burning mouth. My whole body, it physically shakes. The internal tremors, nobody tells you about these things. It feels like everything, I just feel so bad. And I'm so tired. I wake up every day and I have no joy. But these internal tremors, man, and the tingling, and your face feeling like it's on fire, your body feeling like it's on fire, it's not worth it. I don't even know I'm going to go to work. I'm just sitting in a parking lot because I'm having a breakdown. Yeah, doctors don't prepare you for this stuff. They'll write it for you, but then they'll just take it off, or another doctor won't. It's just I can't prescribe it. It's take me off of this safely. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to go through.
The two withdrawals that will fucking kill you. These two withdrawals will kill you. These are the deadliest of withdrawals. And a lot of times people will think it's fentanyl. People will think it's heroin. They'll think of, oxycodone, crack cocaine, crystal meth. These substances are highly addictive. They do lead to a lot of death during active addiction for ODs, a variety of different things. But when it comes to actually withdrawals, none of those are deadly. None of those withdrawals will essentially kill you. Now, I do know people who have committed suicide because of dopamine deficiencies and struggles mentally, especially when it comes to trauma. But the drugs themselves leaving your body will not kill you, except for these two. And the first one is benzodiazepines, which are Xanax, it's Ativan, Klonopin. It affects the central nervous system. And the only other chemical out there that affects the central nervous system is alcohol. Those are the deadliest two withdrawals that there are. Those you want to get with a doctor, because if you talk to a lot of individuals who have quit these two substances cold turkey, especially if you have a high tolerance to them, they will tell you about seizures that they've went into. Because of how it affects your central nervous system, your blood pressure can drop immediately and very quickly, which will lead into cardiac arrest. Now you have a heart attack and you die. That's what makes these withdrawals so deadly. So taking them on alone without the help of a doctor is dangerous. No matter what people say in NA and AA, get with a doctor on these, get with a tapering process, or get on medication that's going to help offset it when it comes to your central nervous system. And it is a fight, it is a battle. And I love sharing and helping those wanting to get sober because it's not easy. And the more that you educate on it, the more that you learn about it, you'll find there is no right or wrong way to get sober. It's your way to get sober, whether it's inpatient treatment, outpatient treatment, therapy, therapist, medication, NA, AA, whatever works for you, but find what works for you. And it's about never giving up. So for the one out there doing it right now, I'm proud of you. Don't give up. It does get better.
So about 2 weeks ago, my piece of shit neighbor's piece of shit boyfriend stole my prescription of Xanax off me. I've been on Xanax for 6 years, 2 milligrams a day, every day, for 6 years. I turned him into the police. There's nothing I can do. My doctor won't write me a new script. He tells me, I said I'm worried about the withdrawal. And he tells me, you're only on 2 milligrams of Xanax a day. If you were on 2 milligrams of Xanax 4 times a day, I'd be worried about withdrawal. But you're not gonna withdraw. I am so sweaty. I'm so shaky. I haven't eaten in days. I keep throwing up. I won't stop crying and hyperventilating. I'm having a very hard time. I'm sick. I don't feel real. Like, I keep getting lightheaded and getting dizzy. But he told me I'm not gonna withdraw. So, like, what do you do when your doctor tells you that, but you're pretty sure you're fucking withdrawing? And this withdrawal can kill you. If you didn't know, benzo withdrawal is like alcohol withdrawal. You should go to the hospital whenever you're going through it because you could die. But does my psychiatrist care? I guess not. Thanks, Nicole and Zach, for stealing my fucking medication. Thank you, you fucking pieces of shit. I hope I die from this, like, please. Just end it already. Just let it be over.
Taking Xanax is like playing Russian roulette with your mental health. The more you take Xanax, the worse your anxiety is going to be the next day because your brain, especially the amygdala, becomes dependent on that Xanax for GABA. GABA is the neurotransmitter that makes us feel safe in our bodies, and it's what we need the most of when we go to sleep, to get a full night's sleep, to wake up feeling refreshed and vital. Without GABA, we don't feel safe in our bodies, and our nervous system gets overwhelmed with everything happening. So if you're taking Xanax, you're essentially saying, I'm okay with being in the anxiety and panic attack prison for the rest of my life. Me personally, I use saffron. This is Saffron RX. Saffron can actually calm the amygdala without numbing it, which means that you still get a full experience of life. In fact, you get a better experience life because this also helps regulate dopamine and serotonin. And you don't have the rebound effect where the next day you might even need to take more Xanax just to have the same effect that you did last night. Or next week, you have to take more, even more, even more. Until what? You can actually deal with the core reason why you gain anxiety. I started taking this when I was weaning off of an SSRI, and they told me, hey, you can go on a benzo, your panic attacks aren't going to get better. So I was like, nah, I got to get off of this. When I started taking this, I finally dealt with the core of my anxiety, of my panic attacks, of my insomnia. By the way, listen to your doctor and do not stop taking any type of benzo, any type of SSRI, just cold turkey. You have to wean slowly, slower than your doctor will tell you. If you want to take control over your mental health, not just be dependent on a pill and be stuck in panic attack prison, you can take saffron and you can deal with the core reasons why you have anxiety and finally take control, finally feel like you are in control of your mental health.